Inga was coming home tired from work. She was ready to hit the bed after the long day when she got a text from Caleb to meet him. They went out on a date and they started remembering the old days when they would sneak up. When suddenly the ex-girlfriend of Caleb showed up and he started hanging out with her instead of Inga. She felt betrayed and told him that he's an asshole, while he told her that he doesn't want to see her again, but she gave him the gift for Valentine's Day anyways. After the date, she went home and she got to bed finally. She was very tired from work, from Caleb, from everything. She got up early so she can make breakfast and head to the closest bar where she could talk with the locals. She ended up there and she was having a lot of fun while doing the research about Strangerville. She ended up sitting next to the general of the army and she asked a few questions about Strangerville, but the general would avoid the questions, so Inga went ahead and placed a bug so she could listen. After that, she went to the army men to ask more questions, but they weren't really cooperative as well. She ended up having just small talk with them about the town, about the weather, things like that. After speaking with so many people, she met Robert. He seemed a bit down about work, so she cheered him up. They ended up liking each other, and they talked a lot about life, about work, about everything. And they ended up on a date. She liked him a lot, not because she needed a key card to enter the laboratory, but because he was romantic and he wasn't like Caleb. He actually loved her and wanted to be with her. She proceeded to kiss him on that date, and from then on, only good things were happening. They got to know each other very well on that date, and they talked about a lot of stuff. After the date, Inga went home and slept, thinking about Robert. She was thinking about him all the time, at work and at her free time as well. After that, he invited her on one more date. She couldn't stop thinking about kissing him and being with him. She decided that it's time, and she proposed to Robert. Surprisingly, he was just as in love as she was and accepted. They were engaged, so they decided to sleep together for the first time. Sure was exciting. After that, Inga asked him to borrow the key card so she could enter the laboratory and stop what has been going on, and he gave the key card to her. He had to leave for work. They kissed passionately, and he went ahead. Inga still couldn't believe what's happening. She decided to go to the lab so she could use the key card that Robert gave her. Once she tried it, it worked immediately, and some strange things started coming out of down there. She decided to continue ahead, but something happened. She passed out, and once she woke up again, she was weird. She couldn't control her body at all. She continued meeting Robert, and they were planning the wedding. After a few weeks, she was able to assemble a hazmat suit, which allowed her to go through the second door of the lab without getting possessed. She was shocked about what she found downstairs. It was a huge flower that was infecting everything. She tried to fight it, but she wasn't able to defeat it all alone. It got her, and she passed out there for a few hours. After seeing what's down there, she decided that it's time her and Robert got married. They went to a friend's house at Henford Badgley and they eloped. It was the happiest day of Inga's life. Nothing could go wrong from now on. She had Robert, she was one step closer to defeating the huge monster in the lab. But after the wedding, something happened. Once Robert went for work, Caleb went to their home and he turned Inga into a vampire without her consent. He wanted to have her forever, even though she already married the man she loves. After he turned her, Inga got more attracted to him, and she couldn't help but want him. She cheated on her husband with the vampire that turned her. Inga didn't turn immediately into a vampire. It took a couple of days. The first signs were that she was very hungry. Her stomach was always hurting. And one night, after her husband came home and fell asleep, it happened. Inga turned into a vampire. And she will live forever now, just as Caleb wanted.